It's November 1st. We're wasting no time getting started on some Christmas projection mapping. This mini tutorial's going to build on one I did previously with opening garage doors and keyframing. So that one already covers how to do something like in this video where as soon as the snow passes, where the garage opens. So I'll put a link in the description or somewhere so you can see how that one works. But the focus of this one is I wanted these windows to open as well. But the problem is with the style of windows, I wouldn't want it to slide straight up or slide straight to the side on two-dimensional plane. That isn't what these kinds of windows look like. So I want them to, as you saw in that one, to turn inwards in 3D space and to be able to turn on where the hinges would be for the windows. And so that's what we're going to look at today, is how you can get it to turn in 3 dimensions and change where that pivot point is so it can look like it's turning on a hinge. So we've got this window here, and we're going to stick it here in the window and make it open. But there's a couple things that we're going to have to adjust for this to work. If I were to, well, I'll just show you here. Let's go ahead and see if we could rotate this thing in 3D space. So for this window, first we're going to check this little box to make it 3D. And if I were to try to pivot that to open the window, it's like, well, that doesn't look natural at all. That doesn't look like the way windows open. And the reason for this is because the anchor point, turn this off for a second, you can see this little mark here in the image. That's the anchor point currently for this image. And so that's also going to be where the pivot point is when we're making changes. So we can come down to the anchor point settings and move that anchor point over to where we'd want our hinge to be on the window. Tip that down towards the center a little bit. So that's kind of now the anchor point or the center point of the image. So if we pivot it now it's going on that pivot point, on the anchor point, which is what we want. Cool. So let's stick it here in the window. I'm going to adjust it for the perspective a little here. It's probably good enough. So I'm more picky when I'm doing it myself, but I don't want to bore you with my pickiness for the video. So we'll just get it roughly in the right spot there. Okay. So we've got the hinge point, and now we can just do keyframing like we did in the other video. The only difference is it's going to be on a different property. Instead of sliding the position of the image up or down, we're going to change the rotation. And you can change on any of these 3 points in 3-dimensional space. So you could pivot this way if you wanted to. You could pivot this way if you wanted, just by clicking on this number here and dragging with your mouse. We're going to pivot in on this plane right here. So if we get it in a starting position, same thing as in the other video, we'll click this stopwatch, move it forward in the timeline a little, and then we'll open the window. Now when we play that video, it should open for us. There we go. Got an open window. Obviously I need to work on some of the transitions, but and to get the angle just right so the perspective works. But that's really all there is to it. I'm going to get rid of this one because this was my trial one. And you can see how it works in this little slightly more polished version. There we go. Still gives away the effect a little bit, so I might have to tweak with the angle and the perspective to get it to work, but that's all there is to it. That's how you open windows.